All right, so the September 2023 Nintendo Direct just wrapped up, and we have to talk about all of the different announcements that were at this event today. And I'm going to say right at the beginning of this video, it is very apparent following this event that yes, indeed, we are at the end of the Nintendo Switch's life cycle in terms of new game releases. There were some very hype announcements, but also a lot to be desired from this event. They opened up the event with the Splatoon 3 Expansion Pass Side Order DLC. It looks good. I'm not a huge Splatoon guy, so for fans of the franchise, I'm sure you were probably hyped for this, but for me personally, it was really nothing to write home about. From there, we had Mario versus Donkey Kong. So yes, if you're keeping track, Pioro is absolutely somebody who has inside information because all the games that he mentioned and leaked ahead of the Direct were indeed at this presentation, this being the first one that showed up. And I will say, as somebody who did not play the Mario versus Donkey Kong games or any of the minis, they had a bunch of them back in the DS era, I am pretty sold on checking this out on the Nintendo Switch. It has a really nice graphical presentation. I love the way that Mario and Donkey Kong look, and they're keeping the title very simple with just Mario versus Donkey Kong. It will be out on February 16th in 2024. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is a must-play in my opinion for any Metroidvania fan out there. It looks excellent. We did get an updated, more in-depth trailer. This is out in January, and I am very much looking forward to this game, so this was a small highlight within the early portions of the Direct. We then got a Shadow Drop game, Horizon Chase 2. It looks like a standard racer, nothing crazy, but it is something you can at least play today following the event. Then we had Super Crazy Rhythm Castle, yet another rhythm game, not really anything to write home about for me. Spy X Anya Operation Memories. It's a game, so we'll say that about it. Super Mario RPG did get a very hype updated trailer. Of course, we were expecting to see this game at the Direct, but everything they showed about this game just sold me on it that much more. And gosh, Mario RPG games are getting some love, and of course that's going to come into play at the last announcement when we talk about that. But I am personally entirely sold on picking up Super Mario RPG. It looks excellent. If you're a fan of the original SNES, it's going to be a nostalgia trip for you. And if you're not, this just looks like a fantastic gameplay experience, in my opinion, in 2023 altogether. Another code recollection was the leaked Wii/DS game that fans did figure out relatively quickly over on Twitter or X. And this looks like a story-driven, puzzle-solving type of game. It's not one that I played the originals of, but I do understand that there's definitely a cult following for this game, and people who have gotten into the series claim really good things about it. So maybe one to keep on your radar. It is out January 19th next year. Yet another accurate leak from Pioro. We did get the Princess Peach game title, which is none other than Princess Peach Showtime. We got a much more in-depth trailer for what this game looks like, and it essentially seems like Princess Peach is saving a play or performance from an antagonist. And the cool thing about it that I will say, while I'm not entirely sure on what the live gameplay looks like, because we got a lot of cutscene style stuff and also some transitions into quick snippets of gameplay, it looks like Princess Peach is essentially going to have a number of different costumes that you can take on, and that will change how you actually attack and interact with enemies. We saw a samurai Princess Peach, we saw a sword fighter style Princess Peach, which just made me really want to see her have those options in a game like Super Smash Bros. But this game does look promising, and we did get a release date of March 22nd, 2022. Saga Emerald Beyond is a Square Enix RPG, and we did not get an exact release date, but it will be out in 2024. Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 is getting a full-on remaster collection, which I think is fantastic. They even decided to keep the option of going back to the original graphics and toggling between it. I absolutely love to see that in remastered games. And if you're somebody that has any level of nostalgia for the original Tomb Raider series back from the PS1 era, this is a no-brainer pickup. And you don't have to wait too long to get it because it will be out in February of 2024. Detective Pikachu Returns is one, like, for me, I don't know, maybe you guys have nostalgia and you enjoy a story-driven based detective style game, but everything I've seen of this game so far just does not have me sold. I'm gonna skip it entirely, and I'm somebody who picks up just about every Pokemon game. Granted, this one, of course, is a spin-off, not a mainline Pokemon game, but regardless, I'm not really hyped for this one. All the gameplay that I've seen personally just seems really slow and drawn out. And again, I guess if you're really into the story aspect of it, or you want maybe a cozy, relaxed style game, then I could definitely see it being up some of your guys' alley. It's just not for me. But of course, that's another one around the corner because it is out next month. Trombone Champ is exactly what it sounds like, a trombone rhythm style game. I could care less about this. Battle Crush is an online arena elimination style game where you have to team up with other players and try to survive to the end. It looks like the map gets down to like a very small point by the end of any given round. It looks okay, and I believe it's free to play if I'm not mistaken, so might be worth downloading and checking out at its release. War Tales was yet another shadow drop game that you can see the trailer on screen. It didn't necessarily do anything for me, but it was nice to have a few announcements that you could just hop into the eShop and check out yourself later on in the same day. Always love to see that at Nintendo Directs. Now next, we got a surprise Contra game that looks incredible, to be quite honest. Operation Galuga. It is the perfect graphical style for the modern era for a throwback Contra game. If you're a fan of these games at all, you got to pick this one up. I was entirely sold the minute I saw it, so I'm pumped for this one to release. We just got a coming soon graph at the end of it, so I don't know exactly when it will be released, but definitely a day one pickup for me. Unicorn Overlord looks very promising for fans of that HD 2D SNES art style for turn-based RPGs. I feel like we have a lot of these now. I do still enjoy that graphical style very much, and I also love when it goes into more of a 3D landscape with the 2D sprites. I really enjoy that art style, but again, we have a lot of these, and we did get a release date for this of March 8th, 2024. Luigis Mansion 2 HD, as it's now being branded, not Dark Moon Remake. I think that's what Nintendo called it last time. We got a much more in-depth trailer for this game, and it looks incredible, to be honest. I just wish that Nintendo would also port Luigi's Mansion 1 from the GameCube over, because why not while you're at it? They ported it to the 3DS. They could give it this same kind of love, HD up-res treatment, and this is actually the game that has the latest release schedule from what I can tell at this entire presentation, because we will have to wait until summer 2024 to pick up this game. Now from there, the rumors were true. Something FZero was at this event, but if you've been around on the channel for a while, you know that me personally, I've been very much hoping for FZero GX Remastered. That is not what we got. Rather, we got FZero 99, which, to be fair, on its own, this game looks incredible. I definitely will be hopping into this and checking it out. You can actually play it later today, so yeah, I will be racing against maybe some of you online. 99 other people are playing at the same time, and it honestly looks like chaos when you take the SNES original F-Zero game and throw 99 players on screen all at once. It's actually a great idea for a 99 game, and I'm going to thoroughly enjoy it. That said, that is the only F-Zero thing that was here, and I really hate Nintendo not reading the room on us fans wanting either a new installment in the franchise, or at the very least a remaster of what I would argue is the best game in the franchise history, which is F-Zero GX. We are still waiting to see if that will come out at all. F-Zero was here at a Nintendo Direct for the first time in a long time, but it was in the form of F-Zero 99. So again, mixed feelings on this one. I do think it looks excellent, but it's also something that I'm still holding out hope we will get a bigger return for the franchise at some point in the future. Vandal Tale, a League of Legends story, one that didn't really do anything for me. And Song of Nunu, another League of Legends story, got like back-to-back trailers. WarioWare Move It looks surprisingly good in terms of the micro mini games, whatever they call them in this particular installment. I do think that it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, what you would expect, a simple pick up and play party game for more casual style gamers out there that you can get involved with all the motion based gimmicks and things. Eastward is getting DLC. This was probably a pretty big announcement for a lot of Eastward players. I have not put in time to the game myself, but that will be out this holiday. Then we got Wargrove 2 and Dave the Diver, two games back to back that really didn't do anything for me, but these of course are smaller indie style games. And from there, we got a Mario Kart Wave 6 trailer, and to my surprise, we are not getting just 2 more characters, but 4, although I do think that they are going to be through skins for the other 2 slots. But anyway, we have Diddy Kong and Funky Kong making a return. I'm willing to bet Funky Kong is a skin of Donkey Kong that you can switch between, because there are only 2 more character slots, but we also have Pauline and Peachette. So we're technically getting 4 different playable characters. I just think you will select them as skins on top of certain other characters on the actual select screen, but this looked great. We only saw 1 track, which was Daisy Circuit for the Wii. I'm still holding out hope that DK Mountain will be included in this last wave, because it's our last chance to see that track be added into the list of 96 that they will finish this thing out with. And of course, no exact release date, but rather holiday 2024 for the release timing of Wave 6. And from there, we got an announcement that Among Us will be getting a new map. Not anything I'm too interested in, but I know it still has a lot of active online players, so maybe you're excited for it. And then the big show closer that will wrap up the entire direct, which honestly was the most hype announcement overall, but I'm not going to spin this as being the best direct ever. This kind of saved the end for me, because if we didn't see this game announced, I honestly would have walked away very disappointed overall, and we'll talk about what was missing in just a second. But we are indeed getting Paper Mario Thousand Year Door HD Remaster Remake. They just called it Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. They didn't even put any remake or HD remaster in the title. This looks incredible. This is arguably the best Paper Mario game in franchise history, and it is getting a full-on remake from the ground up. It looks excellent. The lighting engine that they used and revamped, the crisp look of the graphics, it honestly breathes new life into this game. I am very surprised that Nintendo announced this when we don't even have Super Mario RPG released yet. So we are getting some of the best of the Mario RPG / Paper Mario franchise ever, relatively close to each other. We don't know the release date for this game yet, but we do know it's 2024, as that was how the trailer ended. But I'm super hyped for this game personally, and will be picking it up day one on release. Now from there, we have to talk about what was missing from this direct, because there was a ton. I already talked about my hopes for some kind of FZero GX remaster being at this event, Donkey Kong something being at this event. Yes, Mario vs. Donkey Kong looks good, but there was no other mention of Donkey Kong, which leads me to believe we're not going to see him in any way, shape, or form until Nintendo's next generation hardware. And then we have things like Nintendo Switch Online that were just entirely absent from this event. Did Nintendo forget that most subscriptions actually expire in the September-October window, because that's when they launched the service? They didn't do anything to give you a reason why you should resubscribe for an annual membership when the current one is coming due. I wasn't expecting some kind of new console announcement like GameCube or Dreamcast. I think they're saving anything like that for next generation hardware, but at least clear out the rest of the N64 roadmap, Shadow Drop, Mario Party 3, and 1080 Snowboarding, and tell us what's coming next for those games, in addition to what's coming next for Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color. They could have done a lot with NSO announcements that I really feel like would have added some value to this direct, and it just simply wasn't here. There were some rumors about something Smash Bros showing up. It looks like the Amiibo announcement for Sora was all that was, but I would have loved to see anything in terms of Smash content, although I really didn't have my expectations set on that one. And then the big rumor about something else Zelda in 2023 seems to not be accurate, or maybe it's just the Amiibo for Ganon and Zelda, but that's kind of Tears of the Kingdom related. Anyway, we're not getting anything else Zelda this year at all from what I can tell, so all the hopes and dreams of some kind of ports, remasters, all of that stuff, we're probably talking next gen at this point before we see any kind of additional Zelda announcements for Nintendo, period. So that was the September Nintendo Direct 2023 in total. Really an underwhelming event for me overall, outside of Mario vs. Donkey Kong looks good as a new announcement, and Paper Mario Thousand Year Door absolutely stole the show in terms of the one big hype announcement that we didn't know about at all walking into this event. And then it was a lot of updates on things we did know, and F-Zero 99 at least is a game I will be hopping into later on today. But I really want to hear from you guys at this point in the video, your personal thoughts and opinions around this direct presentation. What letter grade would you give it overall? I'd probably rank it like a high C, but really this direct to me was just further confirmation that yes, we are approaching the end of the Nintendo Switch's life cycle today, as a lot of ports and remasters are what they are relying on to keep us fans engaged and keep us picking up software. Granted, we're getting some good ones like Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, but there's still a lot to be desired from Nintendo. But let me know which, if any, announcements you were super hyped to see at this event, and what letter grade you would give it personally overall, and what were you most disappointed in not seeing at this presentation. So regardless of your thoughts and feelings on everything we talked about today, I do look forward to hearing from you all in the comments down below before you leave the video, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all around these topics. Go watch yesterday's video next if you haven't already, which is on screen right now. Also make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.